Welcome back. We are now joined by Sports Information Director Clark Teuscher. Clark, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
So the men's basketball team bounces back from a tough double overtime loss at Wheaton with a big win yesterday at home.
They took down Illinois Wesleyan, who had been the only unbeaten team in conference play, 82-69. Set a single-game school record for free throws made. Illinois Wesleyan played a very physical brand of defense, trying to get the guys off their game, and they wound up beating them at their own game.
So now the Cardinals are tied for first in the CCIW. It's a three-way tie right now. Was the team a little worried, do you think, about being tired after all those minutes on Saturday?
I don't think there was too much of that concern. I mean, there's always a little bit of that, but C.J. Goldthrew returned to the lineup. He'd been out for a couple of weeks with a concussion and was able to take some minutes there. And another sophomore guard, Pat Rourke, was able to come in and get some quality minutes and get those guys a little bit of rest here and there, and they seemed to recover quite well.
Charlie Rosenberg had a career high in points for the day. I believe he had 16 points, but he also had 5 fouls, so that's something he's going to have to try and balance to stay on the court a little more, isn't he?
Well, one great thing about Charlie is his aggressive play, and that he was very aggressive on the offensive end, able to get to the basket, and they gave him a little bit of room there, and he was able to work with it. Being able to temper that a little bit and be more disciplined in your play is going to be a challenge for him moving forward.
It's really nice sort of having him and Landon Gamble both down low. They sort of complement each other.
They sub in and out for one another, and they're both left-handed, which definitely throws a little bit of a curveball at a lot of post players. And there's not too many left-handed post players in the league, so certainly a good kind of a back and forth with those two.
So this is the second time this season that the Cardinals have taken down a top 25 team. First Augustana in their own house, and now taking down Illinois Wesleyan. Do you think the Cardinals might be moving up the rankings pretty soon?
I think there's a chance of that. I mean, they broke in, they received some votes earlier this past week, even despite the loss on Saturday, with a win over a ranked opponent and a couple of opponents coming up who are on the bottom end of the standings right now. That could happen here in the next week or two.
Well, that'll be fun to watch. Another men's sport got off on the right foot. The two-time defending national champions men's track and field team come away with the win at the college invite at Carthage College.
It was a really nice performance across the board. Some guys didn't compete in their normal complement of events, and a lot of the top distance guys did not compete this week, and instead preferring to open up next week at home. But certainly an encouraging way to start the season to be able to win by that much.
So is this sort of like a sport where it's like cross country or wrestling, where throughout the season you're going to see guys taking events off, getting some rest, trying to prepare for the regionals and eventually nationals?
Yeah, I mean, it's another sport where nobody really tracks a one-loss record throughout the season, and you're all about preparing yourselves for the championship meets at the end of the season, and every team's going to go about doing that their own way. The early meets, that this is a pretty typical thing that we've seen from North Central in the past, is working guys in slowly, trying some different things early on, and seeing what works.
The Cardinals go 1-2 in the pole vault with John Wood and Josh Winder. It seems that North Central's like a pole vault factory. They're always turning out good pole vaulters each year. Yeah,
Coach Winder, he really works hard with these guys, and he gets a lot of talented guys who come there because they want to learn from one of the best, and we keep seeing them produce over and over again. John and Josh are number 1 and 2 in Division III nationally right now in the pole vault, and those are two marks that should hold up pretty well through the end of the season when we get to the time when we're determining participants for the national championships.
Now the men's wrestling team, they've got a dual meet matchup this week with Elmhurst. Now, this a little different because there's only 4 teams in the CCIW, but this could really set the stage for the CCIW championships in February.
North Central's already beaten Wheaton and Augustana, the other 2 schools in the CCIW that sponsor wrestling. Elmhurst did win the conference championship last year. North Central had won it the previous 2 or 3 years. So, the championship meet, it's a lot of different from most tournaments because you have such few teams. It really puts pressure on the whole lineup to step up and perform, and we'll get a bit of a preview to see how that's going to play out Wednesday night.
Who do you think some of the individual wrestlers are to watch out for?
Well, Nathan Fitzenreiter, clearly ranked number 1 in his weight class at 125, is a favorite there. Elmhurst has a 184-pounder, Joey Rao, who was a top 6 finisher at the Midlands Championships at Northwestern against a lot of Division I competition. Wow. And is ranked pretty highly nationally in Division III. So he'll be one to keep an eye on as well.
Well, Clark, thanks so much for stopping by and sharing all your knowledge with us.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for this week's Cardinal Report. Make sure to catch us next week for the very latest in North Central College athletics. I'm Marc Dahlquist. See you right back here next week on the Cardinal Report.